what reminds me about the Domingo show is that you have to take into consideration que el programa Domingo tiene 60 años. We've been around 60 years, man. It's the longest running Hispanic show en toda la nación. There's no there's no other TV show, not even 60 Minutes, that can brag, hey, we've been around forever. Así es que tenemos que tener orgullo que tenemos un programa de español aquí en la ciudad de Corpus Christi. No fuimos el primero, pero posiblemente el que ha durado más tiempo que cualquier otro programa en español.
How important is Domingo to this community?
Todavía, en este punto necesitamos un programa que le lleve información a la comunidad. They need to take information to the Hispanic community because many times for whatever reason, nosotros no somos la clase de gente que vamos y preguntamos. Muchas veces nos tienen que decir, esto es lo que tienes que hacer para los veteranos, para los ancianos, para los niños, whatever it is. A lot of times it takes the agency to approach the Hispanic community, and the Domingo show was probably one of the big keys. We provided essential information for the Hispanic community. That's one of the things I see.
Being inclusive for, I mean, and not only Hispanics watch the show. I think many people. I think my mom likes in the show. Being inclusive, how important was that? I mean, starting off 60 years ago when we weren't really that inclusive back 60 years ago.
It's curioso. It's funny that you mentioned that even your family enjoyed Domingo. I was talking to your producer. When I go out to a movie, to HEB or to the mall, la gente todavía vienen y hablan conmigo porque ellos, para ellos el programa Domingo era la cosa lo más importante de toda la semana. That was the most important thing for the whole week. There were other programs that were entertaining, but Domingo, I mean, there was a saying in the community, on a Sunday, go to church, eat barbacoa de cabeza, and watch Domingo. Not necessarily in that order, pero,
Just to think that Channel 3, of course, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary, not just the Domingo show, but when you see the evolution of news, the evolution of Channel 3, starting off with McKinnon and now we're Tegna. What goes through your mind?
Well, I'm just glad that you have the technology or you've improved it overall, okay? I mean, cuando nosotros hacíamos el programa Domingo, no teníamos producer. We flew by the seat of our pants, okay? And nobody told us, okay, stop the interview or stop what you're doing. Hey, we could rattle on for 20 minutes. Nobody told us anything because we didn't have a producer, okay? Ahora, todo está un poquito más organizado, todas las cosas están saliendo mejor. Puedes tener más gente en el programa. You can have more people, more non-profits, some of the groups that come in here to push whatever they want to push. So I think that's one of the big plus. The fact that they have cards with questions to ask and, and all, everything is in advance. I mean, with us, no rehearsal. We just walked in here and did the show. Whether it was good or bad, that's the way it was done back then, okay? Pero ahora últimamente el programa está mucho mejor. Posiblemente necesitan hablar un poquito más español, porque muchos se quejan que están hablando mucho inglés. Ahora lo que yo les digo a esas personas es que el programa Domingo ya no es nomás para el hispano, es para toda la comunidad. Porque ahorita todos quieren estar en el programa Domingo. Everybody wants to be on the show.
What are some of the most memorable groups that have come on the show? Maybe groups that were small back then, but they're big time right now. I know Selena.
a lot of people don't know this, but Selena was introduced to Corpus Christi and the entire coastal bend through the Domingo show. Okay, she was 12 years old when she came the very first time, and nobody, she was basically raised in Lake Jackson or wherever she was over. The father had been here in Corpus, pero ahora they had moved to Lake Jackson. And so cuando Selena comenzó en su carrera artística, la primerita vez que la gente de Corpus y el sur de Texas la vieron fue en el programa Domingo. Ahora, hemos tenido muchos artistas. We've had a lot of important people that have come through the doors del programa Domingo. There was a time when we had some of the biggest boxers. The boxers like Evander Holyfield, what's his face? I'm trying to think of the name of it. He Puerto Rican. He died. And he used to have Hector Macho Camacho. Hector Macho Camacho. We had Laura Herring, Miss Universe, on the programa Domingo. And I'm trying to think how many other people. I mean, almost everybody that's anybody in the music industry. En la onda tejana, si acaso querías exposure, si querías que la gente te vieran, que te conocieran, tenían que venir por el programa Domingo. Ahora, el programa Domingo no era el primero. We were not the first Hispanic show, but like I said, we're the longest running. Probably in the Valley and San Antonio had they had the big station, which is now the anchor for Univision in San Antonio, and in the Valley, but you had to have it. You had to have something in Spanish because of the large numbers of Hispanics in the entire Valley, from Brownsville all the way to Mission.
You guys had no problems booking groups. I imagine everybody was standing in line waiting their turn to get on.
One of the things that a lot of people don't know about Domingo Peña was that that's the way he compensated. That was his form of thinking to compensate the bands. Okay, you want to be on the show, you're going to play, and then you're going to play in my Baile Grande on a Monday night at Exposition Hall. And the groups didn't get paid, but they all wanted to be on Domingo Peña, and they all wanted to perform at the big Baile Grande on a Monday night. And those dances were wall-to-wall people, man. I mean, people just went out there. It was cheaper. I mean, and when I'm talking cheaper, $2-3 to go in. Today, you're talking $45, $50 per person, and some of these bands are even charging unbelievable amounts of money. Not as much as your Anglo groups, but still, we're almost catching up. We're working on it.
Speaking of Domingo, a lot of people just think, well, it comes out on Sunday, you call it Domingo, but there's a name behind it, Domingo Peña.
Cuando yo y Luis Alonso tomamos el programa, Domingo Peña estaba enfermo. He had Alzheimer's. A lot of people didn't know that, okay? So cuando tomamos el programa and we decided to go ahead and take over the show, we got together with Bob White, and Bob was the one that said, let's honor Domingo Peña. We're not going to call it the Domingo Peña show anymore. We're just going to call it Domingo in his honor. Okay, and that's the reason it's still called Domingo, for Domingo Peña.
What kind of man was he that you remember?
Domingo was wild and crazy. He was a wild and crazy person. He did stuff on air that the first thing that Bob White told me when we got hired, first time you guys mess up, I'm going to fire you. You're not going to do what Domingo Peña used to do on the air. But as a person, he was always willing to help people, que era lo más importante. Él estaba allí, está listo. Venía alguien que necesitaban dinero para un funeral o para el hospital o para algo de la familia. Domingo agarraba un 100. He would take out a $100 bill and give it to that person, mother, father, whatever. Luis and I never did that. We never took out a $100 bill because we didn't have a $100 bill. But Domingo was very giving. I think that's the best words that we can say about Domingo. He was a very giving person. quiero felicitar a todo el Canal 3, a todo el personal, no nomás del programa Domingo y los que hacen el programa. Muchas veces la gente que está detrás de la cámara no les dan el crédito. Tenemos que felicitar a los que tienen las cámaras, producers. También tenemos que felicitar el departamento de noticias, porque año tras año tras año, Channel 3 todo el tiempo ha sido número 1 aquí en la región. Eso dice una cosa, que either es lo mejor que te puedes ofrecer al público, o la gente está nomás aferrada a estar con nosotros. Quiero felicitarlos por los 60 años que están cumpliendo, y pues vamos a ver si acaso, yo no creo que voy a ayudar mucho, pero a lo mejor podemos ver otros 60 años más adelante.
And how do you feel about being part of the big machine? I mean, Channel 3 is a machine. We've been a dominant number one for a long time, and you're as big a part of it as anyone else.
Probably one of the things that I liked about doing the Domingo show was that I was a disc jockey, okay? How many disc jockeys are actually known by the public? You hear the voice, but you never see the face, okay? You never place the voice in the face. When I took the Domingo show, I mean, that was it. That made me a little even more popular with the people, because they could see who I was. And of course, I used to do a lot of shows. I was probably the biggest customer at Memorial Coliseum. I used to book the place from 1980 to 1988, 13 times a year. I had the super dances here in Corpus. I had super dances at the Yellow Rose. Like I told people, if I can get a crowd under a tree, I'll make a show. I'll put on a show.
Iris, is there any questions that you wanted to ask?
Sure. So, you were the first host to host Domingo Live after Domingo Peña passed on the torch.
Yes.
What did it feel like filling those shoes?
The first person que me dijo, we're going to replace Domingo Peña, while he was still on the air. He said, go talk to Bob White. Bob White had a fit. He said, nobody replaces Domingo Peña. He's an icon. And I said, I'm just a messenger. I'm here because Barry says, come and talk to Bob. We knew when we took the show, when Bob White decided, he said, we're going to have two people, because it was always Domingo. Now we're going to have two people co-hosting the show, you and Luis Alonso. And afterwards, after we got hired, I talked to Luis and I said, there's going to be a backlash. There might be protests outside the studio or inside the studio or whatever, because we are replacing a very important man. I think I can safely say that for a couple of months, I mean, we lost sponsorship. Rainbow Bread dropped out. The Galvan Brothers and Galvan Music dropped out because they said, these guys will never be able to replace Domingo. When we took the show, it had some of the lowest ratings, and we took it to some of the highest ratings in the entire area. In fact, Bob White told us, the other TV stations can go have lunch for an hour and a half, and nobody will miss them. So for about a couple of months, I can safely say that people were upset. But then they kind of, and Luis and I made it, we told the general public, we are not Domingo Peña. We are not going to copy Domingo Peña. We are going to do our show the way it has to be done, okay? And that's what we did. Whether you like us or not, we're not comedians. We don't sing and dance. We're just going to do a straight show. That's all we can do, and take it from there.
And how do you feel you did in your time? How do you feel you were received?
According to management, we did great. We had some of the highest numbers that any locally produced television station ever had, and that made me feel proud. We took the Domingo show to higher heights. That's all I can say. And I can safely say que donde quiera que voy, I don't care where I go, I've been out almost 30 years, but people still come and stop me and say, man, I enjoyed the show cuando estabas ahí, tú con Luis Alonso, haciendo un trabajo tremendo. That makes me feel good. Anytime anybody compliments you about something that you've done, then you feel like, you know what, maybe I did do something right. So.
Of course. So, I guess going forward, looking back on all that you were able to accomplish with Domingo, what do you hope Domingo will continue to accomplish?
It has to be the voice for the community. Todavía tienes que tener, tienes que comunicarte con la gente hispana, ¿ok? Ahora, no es nada mal que hablen el inglés que están hablando porque todas las cosas han cambiado. Everything has changed, ¿ok? More and more Mexican-American kids are totally ignorant of Spanish. They don't understand Spanish, okay? And I know because I'm a high school teacher and I see them every day. So we have to evolve. El programa Domingo tiene que cambiar con los tiempos. No nos podemos quedar como el pasado. Ahora tienes que hablar más inglés, comunicarte más con la gente, posiblemente irte para la comunidad otra vez, start going back again to the community, and show the community we care. Nosotros estamos con ustedes. We want to be a part of you, whatever you do. Other than that, I don't know.
A lot of people say that Domingo Live, the Domingo Peña show, or even just the Domingo show, is a South Texas tradition. But as someone who was part of its heyday, what do you think that really means?
Really, what you have to understand is that nobody in the area was doing a Spanish show, okay? So just the fact that Channel 3 had a show for the Hispanics here in South Texas gave it a little bit more value, okay? And I truly believe, I could be wrong, but I truly believe, mira, nosotros como México-americanos somos muy fieles, we're very loyal. And I've always felt like the Hispanic community in the area has been loyal to Channel 3 news department because of Domingo. Could be wrong, but I really think that we're loyalists. We stick, you treat me right, I'm going to stay with you. That's the way I see it.